Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're taking on a really unique stack of source material.
It's pretty special, this one.
Yeah, it's less of your standard analysis and more of an energetic forecast. We've got this mix of detailed astrology and this vivid narrative, they call it a StoryScope, all focused on one single intense day.
November 21, 2025.
Exactly. All provided by Tarot by High C. And our mission today is, I think, pretty clear. We need to unpack the practical insights here. I mean, how do you navigate a day that the sources themselves are calling filled with plot twists?
Right, and profound inner shifts.
This material, it's basically a blueprint for some radical self-alignment, and we are going to try and extract the manual for getting through it in one piece.
It's a fascinating combination, isn't it? You've
Yeah.
got the technical astrological data right next to the mythological.
Mm-hmm.
And the sources, they frame this day as this huge opportunity for rapid transformation.
Mm.
But what really jumps out at me is this core concept.
The negotiable reality part.
Yes, exactly that. The emphasis that reality feels particularly negotiable. And that's not just, feeling a bit scattered. This is a full-on celestial invitation to question everything.
Negotiable reality. That's such a striking phrase. What does that actually look like for someone listening? Are we talking about, say, a business deal that's been stuck suddenly just flipping on its head?
It could be. It's both external and internal, but the sources are clear that it starts inside.
Okay.
Because the core energies are so unpredictable, especially in the morning, it means the structures you normally rely on, they might just seem flimsy all of a sudden.
So my calendar is basically useless.
It might be. A schedule you thought was set in stone could just dissolve. A belief you held about a relationship could completely flip. The negotiability just means the rules of the game are sort of suspended.
And you're forced to rely on what? Intuition.
Exactly. Intuition over precedent.
Okay, let's unpack that morning jolt then, because it sounds like the day really starts with a punch.
It does.
The sources warn about shocking news, tension, schedules getting rattled, just major disruption.
And we can trace that frenetic, disruptive energy right back to a very specific planetary dynamic.
Right, the sun opposite Uranus arcs.
That's the one. That is the heart of the chaos.
So for anyone less familiar with the astrological shorthand, what does opposite really mean here? Is it as confrontational as it sounds?
Oh, absolutely. And opposition is maximum tension. It's like a cosmic head-on collision that just forces awareness.
Wow.
So you have the sun, which is our core identity, our will, staring right across the sky at Uranus, the planet of rebellion, revolution, sudden change.
That does not sound calm.
It's a crisis of individuality. It's the universe demanding that you wake up and do something differently, act in a, quote, non-traditional fashion.
And the RX on the end, that's for retrograde, right?
Correct.
So what does that add to the mix? Where is all this rebellious energy going?
And that's the crucial detail. The retrograde, the RX, it suggests this powerful energy is mostly internalized.
I see.
It's not necessarily a protest in the streets. It's a revolution happening inside you. It's why the sources describe it as this light bulb moment of, oh, that's what's been going on.
So you're suddenly seeing how you've been holding yourself back.
Precisely. You're forced to look at habits and structures you thought were keeping you safe, only to realize they were actually a cage.
That kind of realization, that sudden clarity, it sounds, well, deeply uncomfortable.
It is, because it demands radical authenticity almost at any cost. You're being called to drop whatever masks you've been wearing, for comfort or just to fit in.
And this is where that interesting nuance comes in, right? The idea of smashing versus dissolving boundary.
Yes, this is my favorite part of the analysis. Breaking free doesn't always mean you have to, smash things violently. Sometimes true freedom is just dissolving the boundary.
Letting the illusion fade away.
And recognizing the walls were never as solid as you thought. They were built out of fear, maybe, or just old promises.
Could you give us a practical example? If I feel stuck in my job, is this energy telling me to, dramatically quit on the spot?
That would be the purely Uranian smashing reaction.
The chaotic choice.
Right. But the more mature, integrated response, the dissolving, is more nuanced. Into quitting, maybe you just stop pretending to be the perfect employee.
So you speak your truth in a meeting, maybe.
Exactly. Or you admit you need a change in your role. You don't burn the house down. You just realize the door was never really locked to begin with. That's how you negotiate with reality.
So we've got this frantic internal need for truth from the sun opposite Uranus RX. But the forecast says that's not the whole story. Something else is softening it.
Or complicating it, yes.
Oh, right.
And this is where the balancing act begins. We have a concurrent influence, the trine Neptune RX. The sources say this creates a flowing connection, a trine between freedom and spirit, truth and transcendence.
A trine is harmonious, isn't it? It's a point of ease.
It is. So just as Uranus is forcing this crisis, Neptune is offering a gentle, spiritual way to see beyond it.
But there's a catch.
A major side effect. This combination creates a powerful rose-colored glasses effect. It casts this beautiful hazy glow over everything.
Okay, so let's put this together. We've got Uranus screaming for radical, messy truth.
Mm-hmm.
And at the same time, Neptune is whispering about ideals and illusion, which could lead to pure fantasy.
That is the essential tension of the day. You could make a brilliant, authentic change, or you could run headfirst into a beautiful delusion.
A beautiful delusion. I like that.
And the source material is very smart about this. It says, a little fantasy is great for motivation, but, and this is a big but, it warns that if we lean too far into that rosy view, we risk pure escapism.
You're so busy dreaming about the future, you forget to build anything in the present.
Exactly.
And what happens when that rosy haze fades? The sources mention that boundaries are ancient, persistent, and patient.
It's such a powerful metaphor.
Yeah.
It means even if you want to forget about your financial limits or, the laws of physics, those boundaries are like forgotten guardians. They will come back.
So Neptune can't just dissolve my rent payment.
It can dissolve the internal illusion that you're trapped, but it can't dissolve external reality. The rose-colored glasses eventually have to come off.
So how does someone listening actually harness this? How do you use the wildness of Uranus and the idealism of Neptune without just floating away?
You have to lean into the spiritual side of it, the faith. The source suggests that even with all the chaos, if you trust that the outcome will be for the highest good, you'll be okay.
So it's about faith, not certainty.
And about stepping out of your comfort zone. That act of just leaning into the uncertainty is what's rewarding. Be radically honest with yourself, but be gentle with your expectations of what happens next.
And the payoff for getting this right, the sources promise a huge internal shift, an inner transformation, a moment of clear insight.
Yes, and a profound recollection of the sacred. That's the destination. The chaos on the outside triggers this massive revelation on the inside that just lights everything up.
And your soul's alignment sort of takes the driver's seat.
Even if the world around you is still playing catch-up.
That is a huge event for one day. But what happens after the dust settles? How do we anchor that shift? Because the energy changes again in the evening, right? The sun moves into Sagittarius for the next month.
It does. And this is described as a surge of optimism, or maybe clarity, that comes right after all that turbulence.
And the focus shifts completely.
Dramatically. We move away from that intense personal me transformation and zoom out to the exploration of meaning.
So it's not enough to just quit the job.
No. Now you have to ask, what does quitting that job mean for my life's philosophy? The source says we have to place our personal metamorphosis into a larger philosophical context.
Hold on. The source just described a day of total chaos, emotional upheaval, maybe some rash decisions, and we're supposed to just pivot to philosophy.
Yes. Isn't there cleanup to do first?
Exactly.
But that's precisely why the Sagittarian shift is so important. Sagittarius, the great truth seeker, pulls us out of the personal drama and points us to the horizon. The chaos cleared the decks. Now we need a map.
And that map is built on meaning.
Yes. We can't just keep analyzing the chaos. We have to learn from it and seek the wisdom it offered.
So what are the tools the source gives us for this new phase? How do we build that map?
It offers three, really. First, it says we need to start asking big questions and actually be open to the answers.
What's a big question here? Not, did I do the right thing?
No, that's looking backward. A big question looks forward. It's something like, okay, if my soul is more aligned now, what can I offer the world? Or how does this freedom I've found become wisdom I can share?
That's a huge shift in responsibility. What are the other two tools?
Second, soften your judgments. Listen kindly. After all that Uranian energy, you can feel very certain about your new truth.
Right, you can get a bit dogmatic.
Exactly. So Sagittarius reminds us to stay open, to listen, so we don't just lock ourselves into a new, equally rigid box. And third, and this is simple, choose curiosity.
So learn, travel, explore.
Physically or intellectually, yes. The big theme becomes, meaning matters just as much as truth. Truth got you free, but meaning tells you where to go next.
Okay, to make all of this less abstract, we have the StoryScope narrative, the path of the rose-tinted dawn.
This is where it all comes to life.
The imageries is just stunning. It starts with this hazy, rose-colored glow covering everything, as if spirit itself had slipped on a pair of enchanted spectacles.
That's our trine Neptune right there, a perfect metaphor.
It is, but the mythological context immediately gives us that warning we talked about. The elders of the celestial realms warn that too much dreaming can make you wander and forget the way back.
Which brings us right back to those boundaries, those forgotten guardians. You can't just escape reality, even in a magical world.
But on this day, wildness wins. The narrative says even time itself pauses to see what happens.
I love that detail. It really reinforces that feeling of anything is possible from the Uranus opposition.
And this is where we meet our hero, Liora, the Wanderer. She steps beyond the edges of her homeland, drawn by some inner stirring.
She's us. She's the listener stepping into this energy.
And the world around her starts to shift. Paths twist into spirals, rivers change direction. The air itself shimmers.
Her physical landscape is literally matching her internal one. It's that negotiable reality in action. She has no map.
So what does she rely on?
Intuition.
Yeah.
The compass in her chest. The whole journey is a metaphor for confronting old fears and trusting your gut when all the external signposts are gone.
And then she has her crystalline moment, that spark, that remembrance, described as a lantern relit at the perfect moment.
And notice that revelation isn't loud or boastful. It's not a shout. It's this quiet, powerful realization that freedom, intuition, and soul alignment are already inside her, dancing together.
She just had to find her way back to them.
She accessed the sacred essence she carried all along. It's a perfect story to illustrate the payoff of navigating this energy.
So the final guidance Liora receives is basically the mantra for all of us. Dream, explore, rediscover the wild within you.
And that final thought from her journey, it connects everything back to the beginning. The outcome isn't about knowing for sure what's next. It's about belief. It's about committing to that self you just rediscovered.
Moving from chaos to devotion.
Exactly.
And that brings us to the source's most provocative closing statement, which is really the key takeaway for you, our listener. It says, the first step into the unknown is not an act of certainty, but of devotion.
A declaration of faith in the soul's own unfolding.
It gives me chills. So our final thought to leave you with is this. If the universe itself is described in these sources as forever expanding, forever questioning, forever evolving, how must we, its children, respond to that same call? Something to think about as you navigate your own dawns, now knowing the difference between smashing a boundary and just letting it dissolve.